talk about its three important characteristics: frequency, amplitude, and phase.
Frequency: the number of times a wave cycle repeats within a certain time. Amplitude: the distance between the top and the bottom of a wave. Phase: it specifies the location of a point within a wave cycle. What is modulation? Modulation is a process in which some characteristics, amplitude, frequency, phase, of a carrier wave, high-frequency sinusoidal wave, is varied in accordance with an information signal, baseband signal.
AM. When the amplitude of high-frequency carrier wave is changed in accordance with the intensity of the signal, this process is called amplitude modulation. In the amplitude modulation, only the amplitude of the carrier wave is changed. The frequency and the phase of the carrier wave remains constant.
Amplitude modulation. In this type of modulation, the amplitude of the carrier signal is varied in proportion to the instantaneous amplitude of information signal.
Explain frequency modulation, that is FM. When the frequency of carrier wave is changed in accordance with the intensity of the signal, this process is called frequency modulation. In frequency modulation, the amplitude and phase of the carrier wave remains constant. Only the frequency of the carrier wave is changed in accordance with the signal. The frequency variation of the carrier wave depends on the instantaneous amplitude of the signal as shown. When the signal voltage is 0 at A, C, E and G, the carrier frequency is unchanged. When the signal approaches its positive peaks at B and F, the carrier frequency is increased to maximum as shown by closely spaced cycles, but during the negative peak of signal as at D, the carrier frequency is reduced to minimum as shown by widely spaced cycles. The louder signal causes greater frequency change in modulated carrier as indicated by increased bunching and speeding of the waves as compared with relatively weaker signal.
Frequency modulation. In this type of modulation, the frequency of the carrier signal varies in accordance with the message signal, and other parameters like amplitude and phase remain constant. Phase modulation. In this type of modulation, the phase of the carrier signal varies in accordance with the message signal. When the phase of the signal is changed, then it affects the frequency. So, for this reason, this modulation is also comes under the frequency modulation.